Hey kids, welcome to this week's Children's Ministry Online. I'm really excited for everything that we have planned for you today. So let's get into the dancing, we'll read an awesome lesson, and then we'll get into a really cool craft. Let's get into it.
Over mountains high, through the valleys low, God is good. Wherever we go, from the brightest days to the darkest nights, God is good all the time. Oh, 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 God is good. Oh, oh, to the vast unknown, everywhere we go, God is good. Through the trials we face, He will show the way. We will stand and say that God is good. Oh, 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 God is good. Oh, 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 days
now we're going to get into our story lesson for today. So we'll be reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible, and the story is called The Forgiving Prince, which is about Joseph and his brothers from Genesis 37 through 46. Jacob had 12 sons, but of all of his sons, Joseph was his favorite. One day, Jacob gave Joseph a splendid new robe. It was beautiful and rich with all the colors of the rainbow, but it made Joseph's brothers really jealous. They wanted rich rainbow robes too. Then, to make matters worse, Joseph kept on having these special dreams. I dreamed I was the greatest. I was king, Joseph told his brothers, and you all bowed down to me. Now, I'm sure you know, even if Joseph didn't, that telling your brothers things like that isn't a very good idea. But Joseph's brothers hated him even more for this. They wanted to kill Joseph and all of his dreams. And one day, that's exactly what they tried to do. They tore Joseph's rainbow robe off him and sold him to slave traders for 20 pieces of silver. The traders took Joseph to Egypt and made him into a slave. The brothers went home and lied to their father, telling him that Joseph was dead. That's the end of that dreamer, they thought. But they were wrong. God had a magnificent dream for Joseph's life, and even when it looked like everything had gone wrong, God would use it all to help make the dream come true. God would use everything that was happening to Joseph to do something good. Meanwhile, though, things were not looking good for Joseph in Egypt. He was far from home and far from his dad. Then he got blamed for something that he didn't do. And even though he had done nothing wrong, he was punished and thrown in jail. But God had not left Joseph. One night, Pharaoh, which was the king of Egypt, had a scary dream about thin cows gobbling up fat cows. What on earth did that mean? He didn't know, but Joseph was a dream expert, so Pharaoh sent for him. It means that a famine is coming, Joseph explained. There won't be enough food. Pharaoh was so pleased by Joseph's skills that he immediately took Joseph out of jail and made him a prince. Now back home, Joseph's brothers had run out of food and everyone was hungry. God's special family was in danger. If they didn't get food soon, they would starve to death. So Joseph's brother traveled to Egypt to buy food. They came and knelt before the new prince. His brothers didn't even know that the prince was Joseph. But Joseph knew who they were. Joseph's dream, the one about his brothers bowing down to him, it was coming true. "It's me," Joseph cried. When they saw it was Joseph, his brothers were afraid. They had wronged Joseph. They had sinned and they knew it. Now Joseph would certainly punish them. But Joseph looked at his brothers and his eyes filled with tears. Even though his brothers had hurt him and hated him and wanted him dead, in spite of everything, he couldn't stop loving them. His heart, which they had broken, filled up with love, and Joseph forgave them. Joseph threw his arms around them. "Don't be afraid," he said. "Behind what you are doing, underneath everything that was happening, God was doing something good. God was making everything right again." Joseph didn't punish them. He rescued them. He brought God's special family to live safely with him in Egypt. One day, God would send another prince, a young prince whose heart would break. Like Joseph, he would leave his home and his father. His brothers would hate him and want him dead. He would be sold for pieces of silver, and he would be punished even though he had done nothing wrong. But God was using everything that happened to this young prince, even the bad things, to do something good, to forgive the sins of the whole world. Well, you may think that sometimes things are not going your way, and God just has a bigger plan in the midst of all of that. He can change something kind of sucky into something really cool, and you just have no idea what that is. So just keep pressing into the Lord and know that He has a plan for you and your life. Well, let's get into the craft. Hey kids, now we're gonna get into our craft, and I'm really excited for this one because this craft we are gonna actually be able to wear as a costume, and that's gonna be really cool. So to start out with, let's get to our supplies. Now, I'm going to do almost 2 different types of crafts today, and that's just because if you don't have one material, I still want to be able to make sure that you can do this craft. So I'm going to show you how to do this craft with a different material as well. So for this craft, you will need, the main craft is going to be done with a large piece of just grocery store paper bag. On the opposite side, you can see that it has the store's logo on it, but we'll just be using this side of it. If you do not have a large bag like this, you may have a sandwich bag just like this. So either of these will do fine, but they're going to be 2 separate crafts today. So you don't need both of them, you just need one. If you have both of them, I recommend going with this one because this one might be a little more fun. If you are going to be using this smaller paper bag, then you will need a piece of paper to go along with it. And as always, we are going to need scissors, glue or tape, our handy dandy coloring utensils. So I have my markers and crayons here. And I have gathered a bunch of different materials that I have just found around the children's ministry area. But I've just found some pipe cleaners, I've found some rope, I've found some different just string and decoration little bands. So this is what we're going to be using for decoration for our craft today. So you can get however many or whatever you would like to use. If you have like friendship bracelets that you want to incorporate in here, you can do that. It's really just to incorporate as much fun and just crafts that you can into this craft itself, and it'll be really fun. So while you all scour around your house to try and find some of these nifty craft supplies, I'm gonna start organizing and we'll meet you back here in a sec. Okay, so now we are going to start, and I'm going to start with the craft that uses the large paper bag. Now, if you do not have the large paper bag and you want to just listen to the other part of the craft, then I'm going to have the minute that you can scroll to written right above, and if you just want to go to that time, then we will be starting the craft with the smaller paper bag with this piece of paper. So now to get started with the big paper bag. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna take our scissors and we're gonna cut straight down the middle. So we're gonna take our scissors and just cut straight down. We're gonna go all the way to the very top. And I want to make sure that you all don't cut any other parts. So some of you, the flap might be on this side. So just make sure that you're not cutting the flap with it, that you're just cutting a straight line through. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have cut it just like that, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut a circle here, and this is where we're going to be poking our head out of. So if you want to go from the spot where you ended your cut and kind of go in there and then start making a circle. And remember, again, this part, we don't want you to cut through the other side here. So just make sure that you're cutting just in between here. Okay, so now that we have done that, we have one to open, and then we have a nice circle up here. So now, after that, we are going to make our 2 armholes, and our 2 armholes are gonna go right on this side. So you can see that there's a natural crease or curve to do that way. So you're just gonna fold it to go the other way. And what you're gonna do is you're just going to make a half circle. So actually, I'll draw this on there for you guys. That way you can see what I am talking about. So when you fold it like this, you're going to cut a circle just like that around your piece. And you just need to cut that part because when these are folded together, you'll cut this side also, and that'll make a nice circle. And then we're gonna do the same thing on this side. You don't need to draw it out, but you can if you want to. And I want to express that if you guys do need help with this, please ask your parents. I'm sure that they would be happy to help you with this, especially because it might take 2 hands to do it. So now we will have our first hole right there. And right now I can kind of tell that that might be a little bit hard for my arm to get through, which is what we're going to be doing at the end of this. So you can start trimming to make it a little bit bigger if you feel that it will need to be just a little bigger for your arm. All right, now we are going to do that same thing on this side. So we're going to find that crease. We're gonna fold it the other way, like this. Okay, so now that we have done all of that, we are done with our cutting. And I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna put this on and I'm gonna stand up just to show you what it will look like once you put it on. So you'll put it on just kind of like a jacket or a shirt. Just like this. So this is how it is going to look on you. So now we are going to decorate the sides of it. Carefully take it off just to make sure that you don't rip. And if you see that the armholes are a little bit too small for you, then you can cut them out to be just a little bit bigger. So now we're gonna fold it up back to it wants to fold, just like that. Okay, so we are going to be making the robe that Joseph is given from his dad. So this is gonna be the super colorful robe, which is why I'm gonna be using all of these super colorful crafts. So you will get the crafts that you have gathered. If you weren't able to find any, that's totally okay. You can just use your colors and draw with your imagination. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take some pipe cleaners. I'm gonna start putting them on here. Okay, so now that I have laid out all of these crafts that I want to include in my piece, I'm just gonna start either gluing or taping them down. So some of them can just be taped easier than glue, which is this guy. And some of the other things like this can be glued on. So I will let you all decide which one will be better. And I'm gonna start taping / gluing all of these on. Okay, so after you have done that, now we are going to color. So you can just color around the piece wherever you want, just to make it more festive and colorful, just the way that you like it. So you can use your paint, your crayons, your markers, whatever you want. I'll just start coloring in between the lines that I have, and then we'll get to our next step. Okay, so now that you have decorated it the way that you would like it to look, now it is ready to be worn. So just like the way that we tried it on, this is how we are going to wear it. And I'll stand up once more, put my arms through it. And wear it just like this. And this is just the cloak or the robe that was given to Joseph from his dad. And if you want, you can also color the sides or the arms of it, or you can color the back of it. You can cover as much as you would like to. Don't worry about it if parts of it rip. As you can see, some of the arm part of it just ripped for me, but I can just easily tape that up and still wear this, and it'll be just a nice and cool little thing that we can wear. So now if you are doing this paper bag, now we're gonna get to this part of it. So for this part, you can stick your hand inside of it and make something like this. So for this, that's probably how we're going to do it. So this part is going to be the face. We're going to still make this the robe, and then we'll have some feet popping out. And we'll just get to color that however we would like. So to start out with, let's do the same thing that we did with that paper bag, and we're just gonna cut it to the middle and stop right there where this flap opens up. Make sure that you don't cut to this side, that you only cut this first part of it. So then after that, you know where the robe part is. So let's see, let me stick our hand inside of here. Can go like that, cool. So, okay, so now this is gonna be the robe part, and this is going to be the face. So now we'll get our piece of paper that we got for this part of it, and we're going to draw a face, and we're going to draw 2 little feet. So I will let you all draw those however you would like. Okay, so I've drawn the face and the 2 feet, and I actually have 2 little googly eyes that I found. So I'm gonna put those onto the face, but you can also just draw on those eyes. So I'm gonna quickly glue the eyes that I have on there. And you can draw them on there, or if you have your own googly eyes, glue those on as well. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have our face and our 2 feet made, now we are going to cut those out. Perfect. Okay, once you have cut those out, that is going to be all that you will need for that white piece of paper. So now we can glue our face onto the paper bag this way, and then we'll glue our 2 feet onto, or 2 shoes onto the bottom of right here. So I will have you glue or tape, whichever one you want. So I'll have you guys do that right now. Okay, so now you have your face, your 2 feet, and now we are going to color our robe to make it super colorful, however you all would like. So what I did with the other paper bag is I just took these arts and crafts and I just kind of glued or taped them on there, and then I colored all around it. So I'm gonna do that, and you all just decorate it however you would like, because this is gonna be the robe that is the coolest to you. So I'll let you all brainstorm your creativity now. Okay, perfect. So now when you are done, you will have your little googly eye person with the robe on them. You can stick your hand right in here and open it up just like this, and you can kind of talk it like a little Muppet type thing. And those are the 2 different types of projects that you can do for the Joseph and his really cool and colorful robe that he has. Well, thanks for joining for this week's craft, and I hope that you had as much fun doing it as much as I did. Thanks for joining us for this week's Children's Ministry Online. What a really cool dancing video and story and craft. Well, I hope that you all have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next week for our next video.